day. Mko sawa? Who is going to give us a signal? Any volunteer? Kamau, Jensi, Kabayao. May not have been lately in the news, regular face. Mheshimiwa Mawadhe, huyu ni kijana yangu zamani sana, part of all this from Nyeri, and so and my colleagues here. I want to read this statement on behalf of all of us, and please don't be tired of coming, and we'll also not be tired of standing with our people, the Kenyan people. We'll be doing, as occasion demands, issue very straight and strong statements like the one we're about to issue, and we'll also go to the people. We will go everywhere as the good Lord enables us. So this is a statement by the People's Loyal Opposition, dated today, November 15th. And it's entitled, "We Reject the Proposed Experiments on Vaccination of Cattle in Kenya by the Kenya Kwanza regime." Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. I believe it's already afternoon. Yes, indeed. Last week, William Ruto announced at a public gathering the intention of the Kenya Kwanza government to vaccinate some 22 million cattle in the country. Beyond this, the intention is to vaccinate all other bovines in the same manner. This includes sheep, goats, camels, and other domestic animals. The program has been proposed for the entire country over the coming few months and is being marketed as a part of the government's environmental protection efforts. We wish to state at the very outset that the proposed vaccination program has all the markings of a sinister foreign agenda. It does not augur well for the country's pastoralist group or groups and for this country as a whole. The plan, which has the full support of international research institutions, wants to introduce gene-modifying drugs into Kenyan bovine livestock in order for them to ostensibly, quote-unquote, cease emitting methane gas into the atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, animals release gas into the atmosphere as a normal biological result of digesting processes. Those behind this plan claim that the animal's natural release of intestinal gas into the atmosphere as a means of relief from normal feeding and flatulence processes is hazardous to the environment. They say that biogas, which is used for a variety of residential uses around the world, is contributing to harmful climate change. As a result, our animals are expected to receive injections that prevent them from releasing digestive gas into the atmosphere indefinitely. However, people behind this plan do not carry out the same vaccination programs in their own nations, where they have considerably more animals than Kenya, therefore greater contributors to the harmful climate change, quote unquote. Indeed, we take note with alarm that these vaccinations that are developed overseas have been rejected everywhere else in the world, including their home country, the United States of America. As a People's Loyal Opposition, we reject these experiments in toto. Let everyone know that we will resist them to the very end. We ask our fellow Kenyans to join us in opposing the proposed vaccinations, which clearly hurt our animals and endanger our people. We have also been reliably informed on incontrovertible scientific authority that these vaccines will alter the genetic structure of our animals. After 1 or 2 generations of vaccines, up to 36 months, reproduction of new life will begin to be plagued by issues. These issues include, but are not limited to, the birth of animals with severe biological malformations as a result of genetic manipulation. There will also be the difficulty of the animal's incapacity to reproduce completely. Some of these negative side effects will eventually be passed to human populations via the eating of contaminated animal farm produce. This is completely unacceptable, and on behalf of the Kenyan people, we will not tolerate it. It is difficult to understand why the Kenya Kwanza dictatorship alone in the world agrees to make our country a testing ground for deadly experiments. Any government's first responsibility is to protect its citizens' interests and well-being. It is unfathomable why Ruto's regime would want to do the contrary. The admission of these vaccines into Kenya is clearly irresponsible and risky. We must all stand up and oppose it. We also wish to point out that the vaccination exercise is only the harbinger of more sinister things to follow. The scheme is to eradicate farm animal production entirely. They will end production of beef and other bovine meats as we have traditionally known them in the country. The proprietors of these projects seek to replace farm foods with industrially generated synthetic meats. The negative consequences are twofold. The first issue is the deterioration of livelihoods in pastoralist communities. The second is, of course, human exposure to unusual industrial meats, the ramifications of which have yet to be completely investigated. Essentially, these are side effects. We are calling Kenyans to action by our presence today at this press conference. We urge you to oppose this nefarious act by this dangerous and unpopular regime. Pastoralists and other livestock owners have a responsibility to preserve their animals and livelihoods. Do not allow anyone to get near your animal under pretense of vaccination. Our food sovereignty, and that's important, our food sovereignty and security are not subject to compromise. Our animals and people's health are equally important. Every Kenyan, therefore, has a responsibility to aggressively oppose this cruel goal. We ask all Kenyans to remain very vigilant. Do not allow any agent or official of the Ruto regime to come anywhere near Kenyan cattle with these vaccines. There will be no forced vaccination of animals in Kenya. We all remember stories of anthrax. If you're coming to vaccinate against anthrax and known the things we all know. We will resist by all constitutionally protected and guaranteed means. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, we commend our Catholic bishops for calling out this rogue government on its unethical dealings with the people of Kenya that are corroding the basic core values that we cherish as a Kenyan people. Now, because of this genetically modified approach, you can never plant the same seeds twice. Yeah, you plant once and you have to wait. And we went to court. We instructed our learned friend Paul Mwangi to go to court of that GMO thing. The course last few days, I think, took a negative decision. We have instructed Paul Mwangi again to go on appeal, because we must keep ourselves engaged on the welfare of our country. With the complications of shaf and shif, yeah, sha and shif, shisha, as Baba Yao calls them, shisha, yeah. Where are we going to get all these people? People with compromised immunity and things. But while we are at it, we want to thank the good Lord for restoring the health of our brother here, Honorable Karima. He's here. I think you should really come and be seen, because he has come to invite us to attend an event at Ken on the 8th of next month. This gentleman has just come from treatment in India. And India has become now a health tourism destination. Instead of our people now benefiting, and this is the way we should look forward and create tourism around medicine. But instead, we are dispatching our people all over, mainly to India. The story of Mheshimiwa Karima is amazing. People have written him off, but he's back. He received bone marrow transplant in India, and he's looking so well. We can do better. But with this regime, I have absolutely no idea what is happening. Instead, they are abusing bishops. they are actually literally abusing bishops. Because if you also don't respect our spiritual fathers, where are you going to get blessings from? I want to end there, and if there's any question, I know my colleagues wanting to add any comment. By the way, it was Jeremiah Kioni who actually first pointed out this thing to us. He kept on talking about it. He said, what is Jeremiah talking about? Now we've done research, we have looked at this thing in depth, and what we have just given you is of vital importance to the present generation and the generations to come. Kama hakuna swali, tunawachia tu hapa. Is a story so heavy that you're still digesting? Maybe you go a meeting also. You know, biogas is actually also produced. I remember I went to a prison in Embu, and they also do biogas. They do biogas. So maybe they're going to vaccinate you as well, not just the cattle. Tawashukuru sana. I think that's it. Yeah, sure.
Maybe just to add our displeasure with the response of the Kenya Kwanza government to the statement issued by the bishops yesterday. And we want to urge them to just stop the insolence and the intolerance that they are showing to criticism. Stoning the bishops or trying to kill the messenger will not change the message. We stand by the bishops, particularly Bishop Muheria, who has been targeted, and we stand by the church, we stand by the truth. And we want to tell our colleagues in government that what the bishops have said is what the Gen Zs said, is what the millennials said, is what the opposition is saying, is what the international community is saying. Stop the abductions, stop the corruption. So name calling or trying to intimidate the bishops will not change the truth. Address the issues, stop the insolence, stop the intolerance. Thank you. Jeremiah.
Thank you.
Pengine kuongeza tu na kusema kwamba Ruto amedanganya sisi mpaka sasa ameenda kudanganya ng'ombe. Na Wakenya wasipochunga tutaanza kuona ng'ombe imezaliwa ikiwa na mikia miwili kama waipa ya gari, moja pande na ingine pande. Na ni vizuri ujue Ruto amekuwa hapa Tagaza University, and he has gone further to attack the clergy. Amesema kule ya kwamba ametembea kanisani, amegundua ya kwamba makasisi hawajasoma. Amesema waanze kufunzwa na Tagaza University. Hayo ni baada ya kuhakikisha kwamba more than 11 of his UDA people have had an attack on the Catholic bishops. Like it has been mentioned here, the targeted bishop is Archbishop Muheria. And it is important to know that Muheria did not even lead the statement. It was led by other bishops. Ngetish was one of them. He is not the chair of the bishops. But that profiling and saying that that was a tribal statement is a profiling that is in keeping with the Ruto regime. And Kenyans needs to be clear in their minds. And that's why you keep seeing us with the Mheshimiwa Stephen Kalonzo. We believe that you'll be able to put a team together that will reverse all these things within the 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, maximum a year, so that we can get Kenya back on track. Lile limebaki Kenya hii ni kuodoa Zakayo peke yake. Kufika hapa, all public universities have lost the first semester. First years did not run. All the universities are on strike. The lecturers are not being paid. More universities are about to collapse. Yani Ruto is just a disaster. Anything he touches is a disaster. Sasa amegusa ng'ombe, hiyo disaster. Ati ng'ombe ambayo sijui, what do you call kinyesi ya ng'ombe? Inaitwa nini? Zamadi. Ati ikitoa hiyo moshi, hewa inaharibika. This guy, Mwenyezi Mungu, saidia atoke. Alitoka wapi? Can you imagine atuambia zamadi ya ng'ombe sasa ndio shida ya Kenya wote, na hiyo ndio anataka kutibu. Your Excellency, Kalonzo Musyoka kuna kazi. And that's why you say akina Matiang'i, akina Natebe, wakuje tuungane, we reverse all these things in a hurry. I thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much.